welcome back to Late Nights with Warm Whiskey. This is part 3, continuing our exploration of Blanton's single barrel offerings. Tonight we have Blanton straight from the barrel up for review. We have covered the standard Blanton's single barrel. I have covered the Blanton's Gold Edition. And tonight it is straight from the barrel, uncut, unfiltered Blanton's whiskey. These have always been available. And I believe first, the big demand and big push and the focus and marketing went to Asian markets that were the first to put a demand out there for these products. At that time in America, there was no interest in bourbon. There was no interest in whiskeys. It was not a thing at that point in time. But in your Asian countries, there was a big demand and a marketplace for it. So Blanton's has historically and always had a pretty big presence in those markets, be it the Asian markets or select European markets. And both of the bottlings, as I said earlier, or in my other video, both of these are European bottlings, 70 cl, not your 750 ml bottles. And I'm going to go ahead and dive in to this one with a little bit of a pour. We have a barrel that was dumped on 6/17/16 from barrel number 927 in Warehouse H on Rick number 7. We have an alcohol by volume of 64.6%, yielding us a 129.2 proof bourbon. This happens to be bottle number 46 from barrel 927. And let's go ahead and get into the nosing of this. So as I said earlier, I believe with both of these, the gold and the others, there is that wonderful, it's a fall bouquet. Apples, brown sugar, oak, hints of orange, the black tea, but being straight from the barrel and being at that 129.2 proof, this is like, say you have just a sound bar for your TV, right? You just have a sound bar and that's all you had. But then you go out and you get something and you actually have a subwoofer to accompany it. This takes all of those notes down to lower, deeper frequencies and amplifies that. And it translates very well at a higher proof. Definitely picking up the higher alcohol on the nose, but again, you're taking aspects and notes of the nose and just amplifying them. What was on the previous two a honey note is now more of a brown sugar, deep burnt brown sugar. So maybe we'll do this a little different this evening. I'll go ahead and take a initial taste of this, see what I think, and perhaps I will add a drop or two of water to this. And on occasion and from time to time, I will add a drop or two of water if it's a blazingly hot summer day. I prefer bourbon on the rocks. I like to drink my scotch neat. Don't like scotch on the rocks. There haven't been really any scotch on the rocks except for one. And it's so good, even though it does work. I just can't bring myself to do it. That would be your Tamdu batch strengths. I have absolutely loved all of the releases that I've been able to try from the Tamdu batch strength. But tonight we're covering some bourbon, so let's go in here and see what the first impression is. Definitely arrives at 129 proof. With a presence, you know the alcohol is there. It's still pretty feisty. This particular bottling, this particular single barrel, has been a pretty feisty, nippy one. All of the flavors are there. Good, pretty long finish to it. Long-ish. I'd go beyond saying medium to long-ish on the finish of this one. But it does have some bitey, spiky notes to this. And it's nothing overbearing, nothing over the top, nothing that isn't able to be tolerated to me. So, and I've had this open and we're almost getting down to halfway point of this bottle here of straight from the barrel. And it's still pretty feisty. It's tamed down from what it originally was when I first cracked it. But it's got some feisty notes, more so on the palate than on the nose, but it makes itself known on both. And again, that's the nature of the beast. You're dealing with a single barrel product. You may get one that's good. You may get one that's meh. You may get one that is amazing. And it's the honey barrel that we all seek. And buy it. And if you're lucky enough to go back and find more, in this day and age, that's hard to do when we're speaking of these products, because the likelihood of you being able to go back and buying a bottle from the same barrel is pretty slim when we're talking about Blantons, or sadly enough, even your Henry McKenna 10-year bottled in bond, which used to be readily available. That one I loved because everything was wonderfully handwritten on the label, and quite often you could find a bottle from the same barrel multiple times. That's not the case in the day and age we live in, but that is where we're at. And this is going to wrap up our coverage of Blantons, the, highly hyped or highly hated or highly misunderstood, maybe, bourbon line. It has fantastic history, and it's a history that's solid, not just a whole bunch of marketing, nonsense. And that has its own appeal. The visual appeal of it as well, the bottles, the design, the packaging, it helps its allure. It really does. So brilliant on their behalf for, putting together this package and getting it to the point where it is in this day and age. And on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Blanton's, is it overhyped? Yes. Is it a horrible whiskey? By no means. And sometimes it can be an exceptional whiskey. It all depends on the particular barrel you're lucky enough to get. So, with that said, I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to try to spread this out and hit some oddballs and maybe do some groupings of some whiskeys again too. And hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, give me some feedback. Talk to me. Tell me whatever. Tell me what I should review next. Ask me any questions you would like to ask me. I've been working in the business for quite some time. I have had a lot of exposure, experience, and time with these products, and I enjoy it. This is all for fun. So let me know what's going on. Hope you guys enjoy it. Stay safe. Skål.